Have you ever wondered why, despite knowing the pain, the disappointment, and the emotional toll, some people still cling to toxic relationships? It's baffling, isn't it? You might look at them and think, why do you keep doing this to yourself? The answer isn't simple, my dear, but it's essential to understand because it's not just about them, it's about us. It's about all of us. Let's get real. You see, toxic relationships are not just always as obvious as we think. They don't always come wrapped in dramatic red flags or fiery argument. No, sometimes they are quiet, seductive, and disguised as love, affection, or even security. But here's the truth. The reason people stay in toxic relationship is not always because they are weak or because they don't know any better. It's more complex than that. Now let's discuss these reasons. Number one, the familiarity of the familiar. Did you get that? The familiarity of the familiar. Ever heard the saying, familiarity breeds comfort? Well, it's a double edged sword. What you might not know is that people often feel more comfortable in toxic relationships because they are familiar. The brain craves predictability, even if it's negative. Think about it. If you've been raised in an environment full of dysfunction or emotional turbulence, your mind becomes conditioned to see that as normal. It feels safe, even if it's destroying your peace. So when you find yourself in a toxic relationship, your subconscious is like, oh, I know this. It doesn't matter how much it hurts. There's something about that chaos that feels oddly comforting. But here's the shocking truth. What feels like comfort is actually a trap. The more you stay in the cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. You start to believe that this is what you deserve and this is all you can have. And that's when the real damage begins. Number two, the need for validation. You see, human beings are wired to seek validation. We want to feel seen, heard, loved, and accepted. But here is the catch. In toxic relationships, the validation is often inconsistent. It's like a drug. You get a little high when they say the right thing and they give you the affection you crave. But then, bam, it's followed by withdrawal, the silence, the coldness, the neglect. This push and pull becomes addictive. Why? Because your brain starts to think those fleeting moments of love are worth the emotional roller coaster. You begin to equate pain with love. But this is where things get dangerous. You start believing that real love has to hurt, that love is supposed to come with drama. And that's a lie. You've been conditioned to accept emotional cues because your emotional needs were never properly met. But here is the truth. True love is steady, it's calm, and it's nurturing. Number three, the fear of being alone. You see, it's easy to say, just leave a toxic relationship, you deserve better. But the real issue for many is the paralyzing fear of loneliness. The idea of being alone without someone can seem more painful than staying in a relationship that is draining every ounce of your energy. Even if you're unhappy, it's better than feeling the silence and emptiness of solitude. But here is the kicker. This fear isn't about being alone. It's about the stories we tell ourselves. The belief that if we are alone, we aren't worthy of love. We confuse being alone with being unlovable. So we stay stuck in relationships that only reinforce our fears. But imagine this. What if true freedom comes when you learn to love yourself first? What if you realize that being alone doesn't mean you're unworthy, but rather it's a chance to grow into the person you were truly meant to be? Number five, the illusion of change. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship, you might have heard yourself saying, maybe they'll change. Maybe this time it will be different. And you hold on with all your heart to the hope that one day things will magically get better. But here's the painful truth. The belief that someone will change if you love them enough is one of the biggest traps we fall into. People only change when they want to, when they realize they need to for themselves, not because we beg, plead, or sacrifice our own happiness. Toxic relationships are often built on this illusion. You keep giving, hoping, waiting. But in reality, you're wasting time on someone who's not willing to meet you halfway. It's not love to keep sacrificing yourself for someone who doesn't even commit to growing with you. Number five, the cycle of trauma and hope. Toxic relationships have a way of triggering something deep within us, something we might not even understand: unresolved trauma. It's like the relationship mirrors the unresolved pain of our past. It could remind you of an absent parent, an abusive ex, or the emotional neglect you experienced in your early years. But here's the mind blowing part: your brain often seeks out situations that replicate old traumas because, in some twisted way, it's familiar, it feels known. And because we haven't healed those wounds, we enter into relationships that perpetuate the same cycle of pain. You can break free from this cycle though. Healing is the key. Recognizing that you deserve more than just repeating the pain of the past is liberating. But it takes work, it takes courage, and it takes a decision to stop living in the shadows of your past and start embracing the light of your future. Number 6, the power of self love and boundaries. Here is the life changing truth: if you don't set boundaries, someone will set them for you. Boundaries are a sign of self respect, and without them, you open the door to toxic behaviors to evade your life. But this is not just about saying no to bad behavior, it's about saying yes to your worth. It's about claiming your space and the right to live a life filled with respect, love, and peace. When you begin to love yourself and create boundaries, you no longer tolerate what hurts you. You start to recognize that you deserve better, that you are worthy of a relationship that nurtures your soul, not drains it. You stop begging for scraps of affection and start thriving in your own self love. So, why are some people drawn to toxic relationships even when they know the cost? Because they're not fully aware of their worth. They haven't yet understood the power of healing, boundaries, and self love. They don't realize that true love, the kind that nourishes and empowers, doesn't come with pain, drama, or sacrifice. It's peaceful, uplifting, and it's the foundation of your own happiness. Today, you have a choice. Will you continue to accept less than you deserve, or will you take the first step toward healing? The cost of staying in a toxic relationship is high. It steals your joy, your peace, your potential. But the reward of choosing yourself is priceless. So, my friends, choose love, choose peace, choose freedom, and start living the life you were meant to live. It's time to let go of what holds you back, because you, my friend, deserve more. So much more. I hope this has helped someone today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.